Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well, and in this video we're going to be talking through my 2024 anticipated releases. This is my favourite time of the year. I love seeing new releases. I love going through videos and seeing what new books I can find and what have you. So this is a relatively short list. It's not in order either. I could not be arsed looking for it. I will put up pictures of each individual book if I can find them. So at this stage, these are the only books that have currently been announced. So there's no books that I know are probably will be coming in 2024 but have not yet been announced. So these are just books that actually have been announced. So without further ado, let's get into this list. Okay, so the first book is going to be, I think, probably one of the most anticipated releases of next year, if not the biggest. And that is, of course, House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. This is the third book in the Crescent City series, and oh my god, the wait we have had for this book is insane. After that cliffhanger in the second book, I'm like, I need this now, I need it. And I do plan on rereading the first two next month before this one comes out. So in Crescent City we follow Bryce, who is half human, half fae, and then she lives with her best friend Danica. And then basically her best friend dies, and later on in the story her accused murderer is going to be released because they believe that somebody else did it. So that essentially kicks Bryce into investigating her best friend's death, and at the same time coming across Hunt, who is just one of the hottest fictional men on the planet. Just, oh my god. So the way that book 2 ended, I'm like, I need this now, I need it. But I am so excited for this. I know this is probably going to be the biggest anticipated release of next year, and I know for sure that it comes out in January. I also forgot to mention that none of these books will be in date order either, so I will try and at least give you guys the month that I have a feeling they're going to be out in, or that I know for sure are going to be out, but don't quote me on any of these either. Okay, so the second book I've got on this list is Bride by Ellie Hazelwood. Now, I've not really read any Ellie Hazelwood, but I know she writes great stories. So what I remember of the synopsis of this is it's vampires, werewolves, from what I remember. It's very, the cover looks very Twilighty, if that makes sense. I hope it's not like Twilight, because that, we don't even go back there. But this cover is absolutely gorgeous. I cannot wait to see what this is about. So I know it's about a girl who's a vampire, and I think she basically lives amongst humans as much as she can. Obviously, being a vampire, you can't do that too often, but we shall see how this book goes. But I think this is out in February or March, but don't quote me on that. Like I said earlier, I'm just going off the top of my head, mostly with the release dates for this. But this is probably the first book of Ellie Hazelwood I've been really interested in, so hopefully this one lives up to the hype. Next book on this list is the sequel to one of my favourite books of this year, and that is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. So this is the sequel to Divine Rivals, and in that one we follow Iris and what the hell is the guy's name?
A few moments later.
Wow. It's one of my favourite books of the year, and I can't remember the dude's name. I've read, it gets mixed in the books, don't mind me. So this follows Iris and this other guy who basically are rivals. They work at this newspaper during this war, and they essentially get connected by mysterious letters that fall under each other's. There's like a magical drawer in each of their houses, so that's how they end up communicating. And in the background we've got this war going on between mythical beasts. It's not, the only thing I will say about the first book, it didn't explain as much until towards the end, a bit more about what the war was about. But I'm very excited to read the sequel. The way that the first book ended, I'm like, oh my god, I need answers, but hopefully this will be just as good. So this is out in January of next year. I'm pretty sure it's the first week of January, but I'm not entirely sure. I do know it is in January, so keep an eye out for that one. Okay, so next on this list is Empire of the Damned by Jay Kristoff. Now this is the sequel to Empire of the Vampire. I read this a couple of years ago and absolutely fell in love with it. It was really, really good. This was the first book of Jay Kristoff's I ever read, so I rated this 4.5 stars from what I remember. It was really, really good. So the first one follows Gabe, who is this vampire hunter from what I remember, and basically the whole world is in eternal darkness, and really the only way to fix that is by finding the Fountain of Youth, or the Chalice of Youth, I think it was. It's been a while since I've read this book, but I've got to go back and reread the first one. So I'm very, very excited for this. And I have also ordered the Waterstones edition of this as well. So this is out in March. I'm pretty sure it's mid-March. So keep an eye out for that one in March. Next one is by another Aussie author, and from what I remember, this will be out in October next year, roughly. It hasn't... It originally had to come out this year, but it got delayed. So that is Silverborn by Jessica Townsend. This is the 4th book in the Morrigan Crow series. So Morrigan Crow is a girl who's basically cursed to die on her 16th birthday, but then this guy comes to take her to this school called Nevermore. So this is like magical school vibes. This is YA, middle grade, sorry. So this is a middle grade book, and I absolutely love the first one. I need to read the next two, but I did buy the special editions, which are just here on the shelves, and they are absolutely pretty. So that one, from what I remember, is out in October. So the next one I want to talk about is another January release, and that is The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. So this is the second book in the Stolen Heir duology. I read this with a couple of fellow Aussie Instagrammers earlier this year and absolutely loved it. So this is like a spin-off to the original series. So this follows Oak and another girl who basically are thrown together to go on this quest to save the kingdom. The way that book ended, holy shit, I need the second book ASAP. So keep an eye out for that one in January. Right, the next one I want to talk about is A Tempest of Tea by Hasfar Faisal. I hope I've said that right. I've probably butchered that. So this is being described as Six of Crows style, and tell me this cover does not give you Bone Season vibes. It's stunning, it's beautiful. So this is basically, I think this is like it's very similar plot to like Six of Crows. There's a heist, they've got to find this prize in time, but I've never read any books by this author before, so I'm very keen to see how this goes. But as soon as they said Six of Crows heist, I'm like, I'm in. I'm obsessed with it. Yes. Sign me up. The next one is also a sequel, and that is An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. So this is the sequel to A Dairy of Blood, which I read not this year but the year before. I really, really enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars, I think, from what I remember. So A Dairy of Blood follows like the brides of Dracula and basically the effects on their lives. I really, really enjoyed it. So hopefully the sequel lives up to expectations. Fingers crossed. I'm obsessed with the cover. Nearly every single cover on this list is just beautiful. I love it. I'm obsessed. The next book I want to talk about is also a sequel, and that is Wisteria by Adeline Grace. Yes. So this is the third book in the Belladonna series. I read Belladonna earlier this year and absolutely loved it. 5 stars. So Belladonna follows a girl who basically goes through family members because she is technically cursed, and she has a weird relationship with death. So they try and, in the first book, they've got to try and work out what happened to this family member that she goes to live with. And the family's basically like, nothing happened, it was just an accident, but the ghost is obviously saying, well, no, that's not right, you're wrong. It's it's insane. But I absolutely love the first book. The way it ended, as with most of these books, I'm like, book 2. I need book 2 now. I need it now. But yes, I don't know when this is going to be released. I assume it's going to be mid next year, but we shall see. Next one I want to talk about, I know comes out in January, and that is Destroy the Day by Bridget Cameron. So this is the third and final book in the Defy the Night trilogy. I have yet to read the second book. I've got it on my list. I need to read it. So in Defy the Night we follow Tessa, who basically runs an apothecary in this kingdom where there's a plight going through, and the only way they can cure it is this magical flower. But basically the king and the prince control all the distribution of this flower. So she and this guy Weston basically produce elixirs illegally during the night and distribute it. So that follows their story in book 1, and it continues on through books 2 and 3. So this, I know, pretty much comes out in very early January, and I'm so excited. And as with all the other covers on this list, this is just absolutely stunning. I love it. It's gorgeous. I love it. The next book on this list is another sequel, and that is A Grave Robbery by Deanna Raybourn. Now this is the 9th book in the Veronica Speedwell series. So I started reading this series around, I think it was August, September. As of the filming of this video, I'm currently up to book... What book am I up to? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm up to book... Am I book 5 or book 6? 1, 2, 3, 5. So I'm up to book 6 at the filming of this video. I just had to check. Oh, excuse me. So in the first book, A Curious Beginning, we follow a young girl called Veronica Speedwell, who she fails. No. So Veronica is a orphan who, at the funeral of her grandmother, finds out that there is a plot to abduct her, and she foils it. And then she meets this Baron who takes her to Stoker, who is a taxidermist, and he's basically like, stay with him, you're in danger. And then the Baron gets killed. So basically the first book is Veronica and Stoker trying to work out what happened to the Baron, and they get a little closer in the meantime. And I absolutely love this series. It's so good. I can't highly recommend this series enough. If you're into cozy mysteries and just steamy tension, this is the series for you. Okay, and the final 3 books on this list is probably my most anticipated releases of next year. If you've been on this channel for a while, you probably know the series I am talking about, and that is the anniversary, no, they're not anniversary per se, they're revised editions of the bonus seasons books 2 to 4. So earlier this year, Samantha Shannon brought out the 10th anniversary of the bonus season, which is, I don't really want to pull that down. Here we go. Here's the paperback. So this was the 10th anniversary edition that came out earlier this year, and it's absolutely gorgeous. This is my all-time favourite series ever. If you have not read this, get onto it. It's so amazing. So as of the time of filming, the covers for the revised editions haven't been released yet. So this is the first one, obviously. So in this one we follow a girl called Paige, who is in a dystopian London where she is a clairvoyant, and that is illegal. And one day she's basically framed for murder and taken to Oxford, where she meets Warden, and the world opens up so much more. I won't say any more than that, but I highly recommend you read this series. So as of the filming of this video, it's scheduled for May release here in Australia, and I'm so excited. I've already pre-ordered the Waterstones editions because I need them now. I need them in my life. I need them. Get onto this series. It's amazing. Alrighty, so that is all my 2024 anticipated releases so far. So let me know down in the comments below which of these releases sounds good to you. Are there any office lists that you plan on reading? If so, we could do buddy reads. I'm more than happy to join in with you guys. It's amazing. These books are going to be so great. So I will leave this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you liked it, please do give it the big thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to me, I would love it if you do so. I shall see you in the next video coming very soon. Bye.